Hello, everyone. I'm Jennifer Belanger with Back Pocket Studios, and today I am here again with senior mortgage broker Nicki Pike with TMG The Mortgage Group. How are you, Nicki?
I'm good, Jennifer. How are you?
Good. So, Nicki has been a mortgage broker for how many years? 14?
Yeah, this is my 14th year.
Wow, that you must have seen a lot of stuff happen in that time.
I've seen a lot of stuff. 2008 credit crunch. We've seen a lot happen with oil over those 14 years, but nothing quite like the COVID-19 pandemic.
I know. I don't think anybody has ever even considered something like this. So, I'm
No.
guessing your phone has been ringing off the hook.
Yeah, I have it face down beside me because it's just constant messages and ringing, and it's good because that means that people are looking to experts for information, right?
Well, yeah, and going to the people that have been through those 14 years so that they can guide them based on past experience as well as the unknown, I guess. So,
Absolutely.
what have the main changes been with COVID-19?
Whew, that's a big question. Um, I mean, there's been so many questions or so many changes from the process of buying a house now. You know, people aren't letting you in to see the house. Realtors are doing virtual open houses, all kinds of things to appraisers not going into homes. So what people don't realize is all of the behind the scenes changes that have been happening the last few weeks. So lenders are now accepting appraisals that are done very, very differently from a month
Yeah.
ago. And even recently, as of April 3rd, you no longer have to go into a lawyer's office and sit down across from a lawyer to sign a legal document. There's a whole new process that's been put in place. So every piece of it has changed. I haven't been in my office for weeks. I've been doing lots of this, the video conferencing, the Zoom calls, and doing everything electronically with my clients. And it'll be interesting to see what happens when we get through this crisis, what the new normal looks like.
Oh, that's so true. And I think that exactly what you described is why somebody needs to call a mortgage broker, because if all of those things have changed, who's walking through some of that? Like, there's so many pieces between, I'm guessing there's more communication that needs to be done even between lawyer and mortgage broker or whatever it is, just to make sure all those pieces fall into play.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say the process, in a way, it's gotten simpler, I guess, because it's all electronic, maybe
Yeah.
simpler to the consumer.
Okay.
But for us behind the scenes, it's a lot of extras, right? And when I say that with the lawyer signing, documents still need to be signed a pen on paper. They
Okay.
cannot be signed electronically with an electronic signature.
Okay.
So there's couriering. That seemed like a really
Courier?
yeah.
Yeah.
Hard word to say all of a sudden. There's still pieces that have to be done that maybe do add a layer, but other parts of the process are almost streamlined.
Okay. So what's different now with qualifying for a mortgage than it was before this?
A lot. A
Yeah.
lot and not a lot. So in qualifying for a mortgage, we always look at the pieces of the puzzle. So we want to look at credit, we want to look at employment, we want to look at income versus debt. We want to look at the stability of the person applying for that mortgage. That is the piece that's changed, is the stability of the person applying for the mortgage. So the good news is that those people that were approved for a mortgage or bought a house, whether it was a refinance, a renewal, or a purchase, before March 25th, and in a purchase situation, they've removed conditions on that purchase, so they're unconditionally, they're in an unconditional situation to move forward with that purchase. As long as that all happened prior to March 25th and they take possession before September 30th, numerous lenders have come out and said they are not revisiting employment.
Okay.
Okay, so that gives some peace of mind to those people prior to March 25th. For people looking at doing something with their mortgage going forward, I think we really need to take their employment situation into account and have some tough conversations around the stability of their employment.
For sure. And that's a hard piece to look at for banks right now.
Well, it is, because there is uncertainty and risk for the borrower and for the bank, right? The last thing I want to do as a broker is have a client go out and buy a house and then remove their conditions and then get laid off or have their hours reduced and have that mortgage approval canceled because of that.
Yeah, no, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
So what about people that have their 5-year renewal coming up? What does that look like in 2020?
I'm encouraging people to pick up the phone and have a conversation about renewing their mortgages early, not
Okay.
because I'm worried about anything in terms of interest rates, but we have seen some interest rate volatility.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm doing with my clients is having the conversation of when is your mortgage up for renewal? I can hold rates for up to 120 days. So
Okay.
let's get a rate hold. Let's get an approval in place based on today's rate. Then if anything changes drastically with rates, you're covered. If they don't and we see rate specials or rate drops, we take advantage of those. So it protects against any upward volatility.
Okay. And for those who have deferred their mortgage, will that affect come time for renewal?
I don't know.
Okay.
There are still a lot of unknowns out there because
Okay.
as we led with, we've never seen, or I've never seen anything like this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing I don't have an answer on
Okay.
is, I've seen questions asked in our national forums. I have a
Mm-hmm.
client, their mortgage is up for renewal, they've deferred a payment, I want to move them to a new lender. Can I do that? I just don't have a definitive answer right now.
Okay. And what about the option to refinance? Is that something that people should be looking at?
For certain people, absolutely. Again, strong job stability, or even let's say the job stability is a little bit unsure,
Okay.
right? With the refinance, it's usually a shorter window. So it takes about a week to get the approval done, maybe a week to if an appraisal is needed, and then a week for the money to exchange hands. So
Okay.
usually it's a 2 to 4 week process. So if your job stability is there for the near future, but you're maybe, and I hate recommending this in that, refinance now for what could happen. But if you've got equity and it can give you some cash to get you through a difficult time and you
Mm-hmm.
qualify, I don't think it's a bad idea
Okay.
because we don't know what's going to happen in the next month, 3 months, 6 months, or how long it's going to take for the economy to come back. A lot of people say it's going to happen really quick because this is such a specific thing, right? Everyone's shut down. The minute we get the okay, we all go back to our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's still going to be a building back up of things, right?
No, for sure. So right now, what would you suggest would be reasons people should contact a mortgage broker? In what situation is it best that they reach out to you right now?
I would say if they're thinking of buying,
Okay.
definitely have a conversation with a broker so that they understand what different lenders and different options, how different lenders and lenders and banks are looking at COVID-19 as far as income.
Okay.
So talk to someone that has multiple options. I would say if you have a
And
renewal in 2020,
okay, I was just gonna say, and that's the key is you have multiple options.
yes.
So that's why somebody right now, especially wants to go to a mortgage broker is you're really giving them what the options are as a whole.
Yeah, and it doesn't always come down to rate, but last week my spreads on rates were anywhere from 2.69 to 2.99.
Wow.
So, if you went to your bank, your rate might be 2.89. If you come to me, it might be 2.69, right? So we had a huge spread on rates because some lenders had increased and some held out and didn't increase until later in the week or till yesterday. So yeah, it's having those options and working with someone that understands those options is
Mhm.
big. Renewal in 2020, I think it's worth a conversation.
Okay.
To again, there's a whole conversation to be had around options and interest rates, and that's huge when it comes to renewals.
Okay.
And people that are concerned about cash flow, people that are concerned about being able to make those payments, let's have a conversation too. Let's see if I can give you some advice and help you word that conversation to have with your bank or lender.
Yeah.
And then if refinancing, I mean, there's still lots of people that are secure in their employment that maybe want to do some renovations while they're at home more, whatever it is, pay off some debt, do some renovations, put some money aside. I think that's one thing we're really learning through this. And I think we saw it in previous, especially in Alberta, previously when we've seen oil dropped, and obviously the last few years have been difficult for us in Alberta as well. So our
Mhm.
savings, a lot of people's savings have been depleted based on that. But it really opens up that conversation of why experts and financial planners and advisors tell us to have 3 to 6 months in savings.
Yes.
And I think going forward, that's going to open up a whole bigger conversation about how people can do that. And obviously, I'm in the world of mortgages and debt. So I do believe that some debt isn't the worst thing in the world. If you've got equity in your home and you can take that out and put it aside, I don't think that's a bad thing, depending on the situation.
And the thing is, it's having the options and knowing what your options are, I think, is the powerful thing right now. With all of us right now, between learning how to homeschool our children and not socializing and changing our jobs and changing how we do our work, there's so much stuff being thrown at us. So speaking to you and having you lay out, maybe you didn't think of this. Maybe we need to go down here. Maybe this doesn't work today, but we'll work towards it. I think that's going to be extra important for people right now, because we aren't going to be able to do things the way we just always have. Things have changed. And unless somebody is keeping up with those daily changes, it's pretty easy to get lost right now in what you should do, I think.
Well, and I think a big piece of that is the uncertainty, right? This is a whole new world of uncertainty on all the levels you just referred to.
Yeah.
And if there's one place that we can find some stability, and that is our finances through making some changes with our mortgages, I'm a fan to help people do that, right? Or I'm a fan of helping people do that.
Yeah. So how do they get a hold of you, Nicki?
Call, text, email. My phone number is 403-391-2053. We can share links to my website and my social media links.
Yeah, I'll put it all into the comments below. So with that, you are based out of Red Deer. However, you can do mortgages anywhere in Alberta?
I can actually do mortgages anywhere in Canada.
Okay.
So there are different licensing for different provinces. So it usually means that I do have to work with the broker in that province, but they're behind the scenes usually, and I'm still working with the client. So all over Alberta, yes, even across the country.
Perfect. Well, that's good to know. Well, thank you so much, Nicki. I'm hoping that some of these pieces will fall on the right ears and just help somebody get through that next stage and figure out what their best option is. So thank you so much for that time.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.